What's a great book you've read recently? Rendezvous with Rama. The Road by Cormac McCarthy makes you appreciate what you have, and your son or father. Mistborn. Essentially it's a dystopian fantasy book about slaves rebelling against a man who gained enough power to become God. It's written for adults, so there's no cliché tropes. Here for great sci-fi recommendations. There is no bad time to read Mouse by Art Spiegelman. The Stranger, Albert Camus. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. Sorry if I didn't spell it right. It's an amazing book. The Name of the Wind. Flowers for Algernon. The Book Thief. Shadow's Edge. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Misery by Stephen King. November 22, 63 by Stephen King, a boy who knew too much, forgot author. Currently rereading The Wheel of Time. The foreshadowing in world is awesome. Django by Terry Pratchett. It's not usually on the list of favorites when discussing Discworld books, but I think it's pretty great, and it has some really funny moments, and some really poignant moments. I enjoyed reading Ready Player One. World War Z. It's such a great book with one of the worst film adaptations. George Orwell, 1984. I needed some time to calm down after finishing it. The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Lord of the Flies. Everything is Fucked. A book on hope. It's what everyone in today's world needs to read. It will bring you a sturdy level of peace and a mindset to find stable happiness wherever you are in life. The Spice and Wolf light novels. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by PKD was incredible. Humans getting more and more integrated with technology, and androids becoming indistinguishable from humans, really messes with your head. The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle is one of my favorite books. Altered Carbon by Richard Morgan. The TV series is great, but I do enjoy the extra depth that the book provided. The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. It's a long read, but certainly worth it. Liar's Poker. It's about a Bond salesman in the 80s and the culture of Wall Street in general. Definitely worth a read. I have a fondness for Murakami. I'm tackling IQ 84. Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. It's book 3 of the Stormlight Archive. Pretty great so far. Loving OP's responses in this thread. Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. I am in the middle of Year of the Flood, which is the second book in the series. I had read OAC many years ago, but forgot most of it, and enjoyed the reread more than the initial read. Overlord Volume 13. The Wealth and Poverty of Nations. It's dense as fuck but super interesting. It's basically how certain nations, regions became more advanced than others. Lifespan, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. Name of the Wind. Fuck dude, it's written so well. I can feel every emotion the main character goes through. Working on the second book in the series now. The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. It's about how he got his money, and it's awesome. A lot of its chapters exist because of Scrooge remembering something from his past in the old comics, but they just proved how continuity can be good and not a problem, as they're also really good. 1984 by George Orwell. The Hidden Power of Fucking Up by the Try Guys. Behave by Robert Sapolsky. From understanding the fundamental physical processes that work in the human brain that dictate why we think what we think and do what we do, to looking at closely related animals to see how it works for them, to talking about the philosophical underpinnings of what determines our conception of right and wrong. I haven't yet found a more comprehensive, useful, and entertaining book. Also, he's surprisingly funny. Great read. The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. It's about the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, and also H.H. Holmes, who is considered the first serial killer in the modern, post-industrial revolution age. There is a lot of information about the architecture of the time, which admittedly I knew nothing about before, but was absolutely fascinated with. How To, by Randall Munroe, of XKCD fame. This is the first book one have to set down every chapter and take a break from all the laughter. It's a plain, earnest, and funny attempt to encourage and explore critical thinking and problem solving. And it is well worth it. Sapiens. The best explanation of the book is in the title, A Brief History of Humankind. It's now my favorite book. It's not too in-depth that you get bored, but not overly surface level that you don't really get an understanding of the underlying idea. The Blue Chip Store, How Bank Robbery Changed My Life by Clay Tummy. Reality is Not What It Seems. Book by Carlo Rovelli. Reality is not what it seems. The Journey to Quantum Gravity is an illustrated book by Italian physicist Carlo Rovelli. A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. I read this about 3 years ago, but I still find myself picking up the book from my shelf and skimming through it again. I felt every emotion you could feel as a human being while reading this book. I even emailed the author and she got back to me with a beautiful message that I still go back and read from time to time. I cherish it. Curtain. Agatha Christie. The Three Musketeers. Tom Sawyer was also alright. Women Talking by Miriam Toews. Orange World by Karen Russell. Gulp by Mary Roach. My favorite book is The Gallery by John Horne Burns. One of Us is Lying. The Rise and Fall of D.O.D.O. Witchcraft plus Quantum Physics. Lonesome Dove. The Book Thief. The Witch Elm by Tana French. The Never Hero by T. Ellery Hodges. A guy is chosen to fight in an ongoing war for the Earth that nobody is aware of. All evidence of every battle is erased from existence. All that remains are the guy's memories of fighting. Theme is here. The ramifications on Dude's psyche as his friends watch him unravel while wondering what the hell is happening is pretty fantastic. The Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. It's a book about a Japanese woman who really loves working in a convenience store. I know that doesn't sound exactly riveting, but it's actually a really good book. Murata is a mesmerizing writer, and the book ends up taking a really deep look at societal pressure and how individuals cope with it, or not. It's also only about 180 pages long, so it's perfect for a long flight or a book to read in a weekend. If you like thought-provoking books, then I definitely recommend it. Truman, by popular historian David McCullough. Truman is a 1992 biography of the 33rd President of the United States, Harry S. Truman. The book won the 1993 Pulitzer Prize for Biography or Autobiography. The book was later made into a movie with the same name by HBO. https://goodreads.com/book/show/2279. Currently reading Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, and I think I'm sold on the whole series. I never finished the games, but I reinstalled those as well, and it's cool to recognize names from the books and vice versa. Alas Babylon by Pat Frank. It's the OG dystopian future novel. The Lies of Locke Lamora. First book in the Gentleman Bastards series. Set in sort of the Middle Ages of a fantasy world. Definitely worth checking out. All Systems Red. The Murderbot Diaries. The story of a rogue security robot that hates guarding scientists and would prefer to just watch sitcoms instead. The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. The First Witcher book. A collection of short stories that I'd heartily recommend. Worm, fantastic sci-fi, superhero web serial by Wildbow. Find it for free here. https://parahumans.wordpress.com/ The Fault in Our Stars. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I've read it before, but it is written so beautifully. Definitely a tearjerker. I also read Small Fry by Lisa Brennan Jobs. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Probably my favorite book one I've ever read. I have hard copy and audio version. I read or listen to it every month. The Secret of Joe. Zealot by Joe Thornley. A highly entertaining and informative book about assorted cults. Barbarian Days, A Surfing Life by William Finnegan. I don't know if you are into fiction, but I really liked Bloodline by Sidney Sheldon. Motherhood by Sheila Heti. Deleted. The Ice Cream Girls by Dorothy Coomson. The Body, A Guide for Occupants by Bill Bryson. Just Only Quran Pak is the world's greatest book. Currently reading Overstory by Richard Powers. Going back through old sketches and IG posts and realizing how fully intertwined trees are in our lives. Phenomenal book. Won the Pulitzer. A Spy Among Friends by Ben McIntyre. Great non-fiction book about the life and career of Kim Philby, the British intelligence officer who rose to the top of MI6 while secretly working for the Soviets. From 1934 to 1951 and again from 1956 to 1963. It reads like a spy novel, but it's all true. The Hobbit, now on LOTR. Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. A bit of a darling of our fantasy, but it's a very fun read. No Badge Killick, Adventures in the Cold War Navy by Gord Hunter. Shoe Dog, a memoir by the creator of Nike by Phil Knight. Just beautiful. Dream Cycle by H.P. Lovecraft. I'm still reading, but I'm liking it so far.